Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the February 17th regular City Council meeting. Let's go ahead and start with the roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed.
Here.
Councilmember Pratton.
Here.
Councilmember Sandu.
Here.
Councilmember Farmer.
Here.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Here. If you'd all like to join us in a silent prayer or moments of thought, we did have another significant volunteer in Galt pass away this week. She's the founder of L'Haim in town, so we have maybe some thoughts for her, and then after that we will do the flag salute. Salute pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tina, can you read the replay statement?
This meeting of the Galt City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV U-verse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Friday, February 20th at 9 a.m. and Saturday, February 21st at 9 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions for the agenda? If not, I will take a motion. Or no, sorry, I just like motions. We don't need to do that. So no additions or deletions from anyone? Okay. Item C, we have presentations. The first presentation is a certificate of recognition for Horizon Church.
I'll take that one. This certificate of recognition is for Horizon for putting on the Night to Shine event here at Galt High this last weekend. What we're going to do is we're going to play a short video, and then I'll call the representatives up from Horizon to present the certificate. So as they're making their way forward, I'll read some notes that I had. On behalf of the City of Galt, and it is our honor to present this certificate of recognition to Horizon Community Church for hosting the 2026 Night to Shine. Night to Shine is part of a worldwide movement championed by the Tim Tebow Foundation, where churches around the globe come together on the same evening to celebrate individuals with special needs, affirming their worth, dignity, and value. Here in Galt, the global vision became a powerful regional reality. This year, 241 honored guests were celebrated as kings and queens, each supported by their own buddy walking with them throughout the evening, and an addition of 275 volunteers who gave their time, energy, and heart to make this night unforgettable. In addition, 25 different high schools, 9 separate churches across Sacramento and San Joaquin counties partnered together. This means this wasn't just a local event, that this was a regional collaboration, with Galt serving as the host city for something truly special. Those numbers are impressive because just last year it was under 200, and the year before that it was 175. But this really represents our community. Because of your leadership and the months of preparation, and every honored guest got to walk the red carpet, was crowned as royalty, and experienced a night that they will never forget. Horizon Community Church and the partners did more than just host this event. You positioned Galt as the place of compassion, unity, and service, and you allowed our city to play a meaningful role in this worldwide celebration. On behalf of the City Council and the residents of Galt, thank you for shining so brightly, not just in our city, but across the region. Congratulations and well done.
Your own Sean Farmer was dancing all night. Guys, this is the most special event that we do every year at Groves, and we've been having it in Lodi because it's the only place to do it, at Hutchinson Square. But then Galt High School approached us, and we want to be a part of this. We can have our building, we should do whatever. And it's been fantastic, which allowed us to go almost to 200 last year and 250 this year. The vision of Christina to pull this off, and the amount of volunteers and everything. It's my favorite event all year, and thank you for letting us be here involved. You're not. So we've been doing it for a while, and it's just only wrong. So thank you, and for the community to allow us to do this. And you're involved.
Madam Mayor, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, if any of you have never been to this event, like you've never helped or volunteered, I just started helping last year. I went as a buddy to a friend of mine's daughter, and that's who I went with again this year. And it was a great event. Like, you have no idea, like, how much these kids, like, it's, I mean, and it's special that it's at Galt High School. As someone who myself graduated from Galt High School, I'm in the gym, and I'm like, it wasn't even, my own prom wasn't even this great. I mean, it's you saw the video, it's phenomenal. Like, the attendance is crazy. And people have been coming up to me since then. They're like, what was going on the other night? You know, they had the flea market grounds blocked off. There's always limos in town. It is a phenomenal event, but they're always, you know, needing people to volunteer. So I've been trying to spread the word and get more people that want to participate next year, especially as buddies. So if you want to have a great time, hook up with Horizon Church. Hopefully you guys can continue. A big thanks to Galt High School for allowing you to use the facility. So it was great. Thank you.
What a great example of that, something our town can get behind. It's wonderful. And I apologize to Mr. Vaccarezza to have to follow that. So our second presentation will be Cal Waste Recovery System. Rudy Vaccarezza.
Good evening, Mayor Rodriguez, Vice Mayor, Councilman. tonight's presentation is an annual presentation that Cal Waste provides every year regarding their service. And with that, I'll turn it to Rudy.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. And yeah, we're just happy to be part of a community that can do great things like we just saw, and we're going to try our hardest to continue to be a part of that. But like said before, my name's Rudy Vaccarezza. I'm a representative of Cal Waste. We try to kind of do two things at once. We give you guys an annual service update of the services we provide, and then it's also paired with the annual rate increase that we need to do with our customers. So I'll kind of jump into this and make this relatively quick for the sake of everybody's time here. I know you guys have a financial analysis tonight, so I'll try to keep this quick. But as I think most of you know, I know most people here, my family's been the service provider here in Galt officially since 1985. I think we provided services before that, but our first contract started then. So you could go to the next. Do I do that, or does somebody else? Okay, so.
It's probably not on.
Okay. It says it's on. Oh, there it just vibrated. Oh. You know how to work this thing? No, I don't. Okay. But either way, while they're figuring that out, we can keep going. So from a traditional service sense, we provide residential, commercial, and industrial collection in the city of Galt. The standard residential service that we provide is a 3-cart system. It's a trash cart, a recycling cart, and an organics cart that I'm sure you are all aware of. The standard service, AKA the most common service, is the 64-gallon trash cart, which you see on the left. The hue of that color is a little off, but the trash cart's obviously gray. And then we also provide, like I said, commercial service, which is front load containers, both recycling, organics, and trash to commercial businesses. And yeah, so, okay. So with that said, we recently had to amend the service contract back in 2023 related to the state's 1383 requirements, which is around mandatory organics recycling, which I'm sure you guys are all tired of hearing about at this point. But just to give an update on that, the city, us with the help of the city, has gotten all residents and commercial businesses into 100% compliance, which means that everybody's doing what they should be doing and sadly paying for it at the same time. But with that said, there's other requirements. We have to do annual route audits. Roughly, we need to audit about 10% of the residential routes in the city, which results in about 800 customers that we have to go out to, and we pretty much flip lids and have to see what's in these residents' carts, as well as commercial businesses. We'll be performing our route audit sometime probably at the end of March, weather permitting, and that entails we usually have some people out there in golf carts and a team of people walking around. We notify customers prior to that, and then we have to report back to the state about what's in those carts in the route audits. And then we do outreach and education. For the standpoint of 1383, we do quarterly commercial newsletters related to any updates in organics collections, and then we do an annual residential newsletter that goes out when our service calendars go out as well. We do a lot of other outreach in the community that I'll kind of touch on in a little bit, but maybe the next slide here from the programs that are out there, which is what I formally mentioned. This is just like a tonnage update of the tonnage collected in the city year over year. It's kind of bland, but from a trash perspective, from prior year, we're up about 150 tons from 2024. And in recycling, I think we're pretty much flat, an extra 50 tons. And then organics actually dropped 40 or so tons. But our annual tonnage year over year is up about, like 300 tons. We used to calculate a diversion percentage related to this, where the city's at 50% diversion, those things. But with 1383, the state's targets have changed, and they're more program-oriented. Unless you need a certain percentage of diversion, it's more of, are you doing the programs that the state wants? So with that said, it's not in the slide, but part of our agreement with the city is there's a franchise fee component to allowing us to be the sole provider. And in 2025, we paid roughly about $740,000 in franchise fees to the city. And we also operate a material recovery facility, which is just a fancy word for a big recycling center in town. It's just on the end of Enterprise Court. And part of that is the city collects a host fee from us. And that means that any material accepted that's non-Galt generated, the city takes a host fee related to that, and we paid the city roughly $108,000 for that in 2025. And something else, a program that we've done in the community this year that we just wanted to highlight was organics related, and it's the compost donations that we've done in kind of a partnership with the schools and the Sunrise Rotary. But we've delivered about 2 truckloads of compost to Liberty Ranch High School for their ag program. And then for pretty much each elementary school, they have a school garden. And I'd say, we probably delivered 4 64-gallon carts worth of compost to those elementary schools for their school garden. And in conjunction with Sunrise Rotary donated the plants, and we kind of did it together, and we tried to kind of close the loop where we delivered the compost in the cart to kind of show kids that, hey, the cardboard, the food scraps, the lawn clippings that you've been putting in those carts now turn into compost. So just wanted to highlight that. And then on another note, we do participate in the schools very heavily, as I think you guys are all aware. We gave out 3 scholarships to high schools for somebody told me to remember this term, but it's like a technical scholarship. We did 2 at Galt High School and 1 at Liberty. They're about $500 each, but we awarded those in 2025 and plan to do more. We would actually give out more. We're trying to increase participation in the scholarship program, to be honest. So I'm kind of jumping around here, but now this kind of gets into the rate increase side of this presentation. So there was a letter delivered to the city, I think on December 9th, to give notice about the rate increase that we must do every year. The resulting rate increase ended up in about, it's on a CPI index, it was about just over 5%. It was like almost 5.1%, but there is a ceiling in our agreement that states 5% is max. So with that said, commercial and industrial rates will go up 5%, but the residential rates go up just shy of about 4.5%. And that's due to the fact that we do a recycling reimbursement. So the value of the recyclables that we get each year from the city is credited back against the rate increase. So the result of that is just about right about 4.5% for the residents. And then this is the last year of the 3-year organics phase-in rate increase back in 2023. Rather than go for the whole rate increase in 1 year, we spread it out over 3 years. So the result of that is, I think you can see it in the third to last column there, is there's an additional 30 cents tacked on to the 4.5%. So, roughly it's about a $2.50 increase for the 64 gallon, which is by far the most common service that residents have. And on the bottom, once again, it's 5% for commercial, and the most common commercial service that we have is a 4-yarder, and it's about a $30 change in rate, and or $35 more than. And then for the 3-yard recycling, which is the most common recycling service, other than the free cart that you get, it's about a $20 change in rate. And you guys feel free to stop me. I'm sure this is not what you want to talk about. But so with that said, we also provide additional services to residents of Galt. Each resident is included in their monthly bill. These services are available. There's a handy hauler as well as a bulk item pickup. And these are the counts. A little down from last year. Your crystal ball is as good as mine as to why they might be down. But these are the service counts. There's about 2,600 handy hauler services and about 1,400 bulk services. And bulk services are a couch, refrigerator, things like that won't fit into the handy hauler. So it roughly came out to about 2,000 tons that we took off the streets or in the garages of people that we think that's a great service, that, those items don't end up on the side of a city road or a county road. And that's something we've done for the last 15 years here in Galt. And then this is just a list of the community organizations that we support. And like I said, we've been here since 1985, and longer. But, some to highlight is the Sunshine Rotary, the Extravaganza, the National Night Out. And, our door's always open. If you guys have someone looking for something, send them our way. So, like I said, this is just, I think, informational. I don't think we're acting on anything here tonight, but I appreciate the council's time, and I will step away now. And if you guys have any questions, I can definitely answer them. Oh, and then I got to plug our app. That's the last slide. So we have an app. Download the app.
Thank you. Don't run away, though.
Oh, no.
Council, do you have any questions or comments? And we'll start with the Vice Mayor.
First of all, thank you for the app. I end up checking it every Monday night to figure out what trash cans I got to put out Tuesday morning. I did have one question when I looked at the tons that were collected. So we're supposed to be moving our food scraps and all of that to the organic waste as over putting them in the trash can, right?
Correct.
But the tons for the mixed organics keep going down. So why do you think that is?
A lot of the tonnage, especially with organic waste, has to do with moisture. So like when it rains, and I'd say about less than 10% of what's in there is actually food scraps. It's mostly like lawn trimming. So it's your old green waste can. So a lot of it has to do with moisture. I don't exactly know, but it's been kind of a trend across the state, is when the first programs roll out, the organic tonnage spiked, and then they sort of leveled off and slightly dipped. People are continuing to use their garbage disposals. And I think at first they thought they weren't allowed to, and then they realized that they were still allowed to. But I don't have a definitive answer for that, but I think a lot of it's moisture. The 2023 was a huge rain year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mr. Bratton, nothing? Mr.
Yeah,
Sandu?
Yeah, I have just, first of all, thank you for the presentation in detail. Uh, I don't know is the right time to ask the question, you or the staff. It's not like when any rate increase, citizen always have a concern. And I know some may be not concerned, but some they have a limited income, they always can have a concern. And I see that bottom of this said 5% per agreement with the CPI. CPI for 26 to 26, 25 to 26, or what the CPI you guys in a contract? And this totally on the CPI and also with the projection.
So it's in a past CPI adjustment, and it's actually not a standard CPI. It's the water, sewer, trash CPI index that we use, but the adjustment is from, I believe, February 24 to February 25 is the adjustment period that we use. It's not a projection.
So this is CPI just for you guys using for all other city or just, because I know the CPA usually we don't have here, especially in even in Sacramento, they usually use the Bay Area. And I mentioned that before, it's very ridiculous. Whenever they're using the Bay Area, you cannot compare Galt or Sacramento with the Bay Area. But I'm just asking, is that CPA you guys using when is garbage, is just local area or from the Bay Area?
Unfortunately, it's not local. We actually use like a national CPI index. We don't use the Bay Area index, which is actually higher than the national. So I don't know if that gives you a little bit of comfort, but we don't use the Bay Area index. We use a national index.
Okay, so that means you're telling me from there the 5%, above the 5% CPI, that's why you're asking 5% increase, right? I don't check it, but I'm just asking on
Yeah,
your word or asking staff. Or there is another thing in a contract, is that's why you guys come up as a 5%.
I mean, so it's in the agreement was the CPI index that we use. And Frank, go ahead, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say it's in the agreement. That was one of the items that was negotiated, but what was negotiated also was a cap, a maximum. So even if I recall when it was negotiated, it was shortly after or shortly during the time of extraordinary unprecedented inflation. And so that's why there was a cap put in there. So if that should happen again, there would be some protection to the city.
So the 5% cap is maximum, or there is also is a minimum cap?
I don't recall if there's a minimum, but I do recall that there was a maximum. Yeah,
There's not a minimum, but 5% is the cap. I mean, like this year we should have got 5.1, but it capped. And this is the first time it's capped since we renegotiated. But that 5%, I think, has been there for about the last 15 years. And I think this is one of the first times we've ever actually hit it.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for being here tonight, Rudy. Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on Councilman Sandhu's questions, as you know, Rudy, I was a part of the ad hoc committee with Councilman Lozano at the time. We worked for, I don't know, it was like more than a year to try and negotiate all that. And that was one of the things we tried to work in there because, as people know, the CPI, for people who don't know what it is a consumer price index. So it's like almost like tied to inflation sort of. And so, you see spikes in costs, but we were able to, come to an agreement to cap it at 5. So even when the CPI was more than 5 would be the maximum. Yeah.
And maybe to correct myself, the cap was there, but I think it was previously at 7. And
right.
then this time we came around,
mm-hmm.
we brought it down to 5.
Right. And I mean, looking at, we have roughly 8,000 households. Maybe it's a little different now, but that's roughly like, I was looking at the one popular can, 64 gallon, if that's the one that most people have, at $2.50 increase. If you do math, it's like $20,000 some dollars. I mean, in the scheme of the operation of waste, and $20,000 in 1 year is like a drop in the bucket, really is. I know that you guys had you guys provided a lot of comparable rates for other cities when we were looking at that, and the structure that you guys had come up with, we felt was very competitive. But I have a question, and maybe you can't answer this now, but I was curious. So I find it interesting how like other counties, like in our county, they require us to do certain things. I was recently in Roseville, which is Placer County, if I'm not mistaken. And my daughter just moved there, and they don't even have recycle cans. They said they're not required to have recycle cans, so they don't throw their cardboard away in recycle. And I'm like, how is it that another county doesn't even have to do that, but yet, is it vary like that from county to county?
It does, yeah. So it's not necessarily county to county. There's certain areas within county that are designated like low population areas.
So Roseville's low population?
No, but it could be that like a little sliver of it goes in there. And some cities, counties, municipalities, whatever you want to call it, they have differing services where they'll have just a recycling cart and an organics cart. And they're saying there's no such thing as trash. I know that's not the case for Roseville, or it's a different way where they run a dirty MRF, which means they throw all the recyclables in just the trash can, and then they sort through it. We don't run one of those here. We run a clean MRF. But each county has the ability, county, city, whatever you want to call it, has the ability to change the program as long as it's meeting the state's goals. And by far, like 98% of jurisdictions run a program like we have here, which is the 3-cart system. Yeah.
So I do find it interesting your comment about how they used to care about the diversion rates, and now it's just like, well, as long as you're running the program.
Yeah.
I just find that funny because I feel like, big government like the state is always fast to implement programs, and then pat themselves on the back because they're saving the planet or whatever. And then they just really, well, we don't really care how much you're diverting. As long as you got the program, we're good with that. Like it's like if they really cared what they were doing, they would be, not that we want them to pay, super close attention and micromanage what you guys are doing, but it's just frustrating when, because a lot of the population, as Mr. Sandu says, this rate increase and stuff, all this is tied to these continued, pieces of legislation that keep getting handed down. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do that. Yeah. It's the same thing with Galt and its water. The restrictions that are put on our water, wastewater. That's what causes our water increases because they keep lowering the standards, and so all that comes with the cost. And so people get frustrated at their local government when in fact this stuff is just being as a pass through from big government. So anyways, not to get in that conversation, I do want to thank you guys for all you guys do in the community, though. I know you guys had a list up there, but you guys, every time I turn around, you guys have your logo there. I see your logo on something that you're participating in. You're always giving money to this and that and everything. You guys don't have to do that. You could just do what you do in the community, but the fact that you guys contribute a lot of money to events, if there's a big event in town, it's probably a 90% chance you guys are involved with it in some way financially. So I just want to say I do appreciate that. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And related to the rate increase, we don't try to rest on our laurels. We've done the thing where we try to forego the rate increase for a year and then come back and get it. We just find it a little better for everybody is if we just consistently do this year over year and chip away rather than wait 4 years and have to come back for a 20% rate increases, which is what has happened in the past. So we don't take any rate increase lightly. We know the effect on the community. We're out there every week picking it up. So I just thank you for the council for your time. And if you have any more questions, great. If not, I can.
I actually have a couple questions. The route audits you talked about, are commercial businesses, are they included in those routes?
They are. We only have to do like a dozen in the city of Galt. And we do those are a little more quiet, we just kind of do them. We contact the business owners and let them know that we're doing them. But pretty much it's just me or somebody else riding in the front load truck that day, looking in there with a little checklist, and you barely know I'm there. The residential audits are a little different. It's like a golf cart driving around and, with a guy in a yellow vest that you've never seen before looking in your trash can. So it's a little more public.
Yeah. And then if I understood you correctly, it sounds like if the community is diligent about recycling and not throwing it in the trash, that helps to offset the costs because you're paying the city back, or is that recycling buy back just what the city, the city itself does, not the residents.
The first part of what you said, so the better Galt residents are at recycling, the more funds that will go against their rate increases. So their rate increases will be less if we were better at recycling. There's a little nuance to that. There's like material markets that come into play and the price of cardboard and that kind of stuff. But fundamentally, the better Galt residents recycle, the less their bills will be.
Thank you. All right, anything else? All right, thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming
no
and
problem.
giving us that presentation.
All right. Hey, Tran, you want to? No? Trung, sorry. All right. Thank you, guys.
Maybe I'll just add just a few words. You guys know that Cal Waste, they helped us with the pallet project also over at Walnut, and just wanted to update that that project's been done, so they're a partner to the city there too, so.
Yeah, it looks great out there. I just drove by the other day and thought, oh, it looks great. Thank you. All right, moving on. Item D, public comment. Tina?
Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the city council on non-agenda items. The public comment section is for the city council to receive comments. Except for brief responses to questions, no discussion or action may be taken on any item that is not listed on the agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Consistent with the city council procedural guidelines, the mayor reserves the right to shorten the time limit for speakers to ensure the efficient and timely completion of all city business on the agenda. No public comments on this item.
All right.
Pardon me, I didn't get this in, sorry.
Okay, go ahead and come up and.
Trung, can you gather that? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lautenheiser? Lutzenheiser, I apologize.
Everybody says it. I'm Ron Lutzenheiser. I live technically outside the city, but we use this waste disposal.
Hey, Ron, trying to talk into the
Oh,
mic.
okay. Sorry. Ron Lutzenheiser. I live outside the city, but we use this waste disposal. And I'm not trying to start anything or whatnot, but some of us who don't fill our cans, like on the green waste, we have every week to pick up. But on recycle and trash, we put those out maybe once, maybe twice a month. So we're paying for service, that we don't need. Now, we can afford it, so, we pay it. But there's probably a lot of people, retired people and whatnot, that this is an extra cost to. I think someone should look into that. I called, and the only thing they could offer me was a smaller barrel, and the cost was only, I think, about $10 a month difference, which is immaterial. But I would suggest that someone would look at that. Maybe some arrangement could be made for lower income people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lutzenheiser. And I would have said your name incorrectly too, because I grew up with Lautzenheisers spelled the same way.
You did where?
Well, it's called Granite Bay now, but
Sorry?
it's called Granite Bay now, but it was Placer County, out in the middle of nowhere.
Other parts of our relatives go with Lautzenheiser because in German, that's the way it would be pronounced. It would be pronounced AU, which in German is Au.
Gotcha.
But my dad said Lutzenheiser, so that's what I go with.
There you go. Well, thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, item E, reports by city council members on regional boards, commissions, and committees. Mr. Vice Mayor.
I don't have anything.
Mr. Pratton?
Oh, I got a few. Let's see. Start with February 4th, 708th Street Council Board Chambers. Sacramento Local Agency Formation Commission. the LAFCO Commission, not a lot on the agenda. We barely had enough people there to run it, but I think we approved the budget and had a couple of speakers, so it was pretty low action. Anybody got any questions on it? Check with me and I can update you. Let's see, then we went to a CAST meeting, February 10th. That was held here at City Hall. And CAST meetings are always great. CAST is the city and schools get together. So we have the superintendents, the police chief, and city manager, and Sean Farmer is there. So it was some good information. They talked about the schools educated us a little bit updated us on the amount of kids that are at the schools, whether their enrollment's up or down, which it's up from last year, but it's still very low. Right now, there's a lot of folks that think we need another middle school, but we don't right now. They know in the future they will, so they're moving in that direction. Seems like it works out to per household, because all the new houses that are going in, there's always a lot of discussion about, all the extra kids we're going to get. But the reality is it takes about 4 houses to get 1 kid for the high school and 1 kid for the elementary school. So it takes a lot of houses to get the kids. One thing I thought was interesting is the high school is getting getting kids coming in from Elk Grove now. So some of the kids have transferred here, which helps us as far as numbers, because that's how they get their money, is by per head. So since the enrollment is down a little bit, that's good. If we got too large, then we wouldn't be able to take those kids. But for now, that's helping. Summer school is going to be held at Galt High this year. And nothing else that I saw in there noteworthy. Mr. Farmer may have something to add to it. Then we had the BCC meeting, which is the Basin-Wide Air Pollution Control Council. And that's one that I Skype into, and they just report on how much stuff got burnt in the air last year, some of the costs to the rice burning, and some of the legislative platforms that they work off of. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Sandhu?
Nothing to report tonight.
Mr. Farmer?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. The only thing I attended was the CAST meeting, as Councilman Pratton mentioned, and it is a good meeting. We only meet every quarter, but it's a very good way that the city and the school district can talk about things that kind of affect each other. And one of the main things we do talk about is the enrollment and how the development that's going on in town affects that. And I have to say, we usually talk about this at length each meeting. One of the biggest misconceptions that I see, and on social, those of you that know me, I'm very, I observe social media pretty heavily, and I talk to a lot of people in the community. And one of the biggest myths that we hear is people under the perception that we need to build more schools, or that McCaffrey Middle School is, full. And when are we going to build another middle school? I see that probably weekly, comments like that. When the reality is, as Mr. Pratton mentioned, that they've actually foregone some school sites that were designated to be school sites. They've actually decided to let those school sites go and have negotiated or are negotiating with developers to develop those sites into something different. The data that they gave us at the CAST meeting was from their consultant they hired, who does a projection, and they do all the calculations with the growth anticipated and all that stuff. They said that it's going to be at least 10 years before they would even consider building another school. That's 10 years. They said by the year 2032, which is in 6 years from now, that they project that McCaffrey Middle School will only be at 65% capacity. So here we are, people thinking their middle school's full, and in 6 years from now, they only projected it to be 65%. They also expect only a 5% increase. This is in the elementary district. So this would be, this reflects, amount of people, how many, the younger generations, if they're having children, how many children are having. These are some of the data points that are affecting. They're only projecting a 5% increase in the next 6 years. So that's 189 students in a district that has about 4,500 kids. It's a very small number, and it's just not keeping up with the pace of inflation and the cost of teachers and facilities and things like that. So this is why you see schools passing bonds and always want to try to go out for bonds, because they just literally don't have enough money coming in. As Matt mentioned, the point that how many students they're yielding per household has actually dropped. So for the elementary district, it's 0.3. So it basically takes, so for every household, you get 0.3 students. So it's basically a little more than 3 houses to yield. And then the high school is 0.25. So it takes 4 houses to yield a high school student. So regardless of how much people think Galt is growing, it's not being reflected in the numbers of the schools. The good news is enrollment is up a tick, but it's been stagnant, and it's just now been climbing. So hopefully they can keep some consistency there. But we also did talk about school safety, which we always do. They're going to do an active shooter training at Liberty Ranch this year. Last year they did it at Galt, so they do alternate the schools and which ones they do. And this helps our police officers and teams familiarize yourselves with the campuses. So then, God forbid something did happen, that our officers are trained and familiar with the campus itself, and makes everything go as smoothly as possible in those kinds of situations. And we did talk about some other policies that had to do with walking out for like protests and things like that, which have kind of been going on in other cities. So we talked about some of that stuff. But overall, it was a good meeting, and I always look forward to those. So I think we got a good relationship going between the city and the schools, for sure. So, and I think that's all I had since the last meetings. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I attended the Policy and Innovation Committee for SACOG. There was a lot of discussion. That was one of those meetings, drinking the water from the fire hose. But some of the things that were talked about, obviously, transportation funding is a huge issue right now, especially as at the federal level, they're cutting a lot of the programs. And so we talked a lot about advocacy, especially when going back for cap to cap. They're putting together some good programs. Locally or within the state, state Senator Calderon is working with SACOG, trying to get a bill through that SB 375 that they're hoping will accelerate. There are some programs that were implemented, but they are programs that were approved, but they weren't implemented. So I guess we need another bill to say to implement the one they already said they were going to do. So to do that and to improve governance balance, and part of that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the recycling. They set these really high goals, and then, with all of these threats, and then kind of pull back and say, okay, just as long as you're doing a program. That's what they're trying to hope with transportation and housing. So when communities aren't able to meet some of these demands, that there's less punishment, I guess, for the communities. So which is kind of a good thing, especially being small. We have our challenges to try to fit into that one-size-fits-all mentality that comes from Sacramento. So that's part of what they're working on with that SB 375. So watch for that. That will be coming. They haven't drafted all of the language for it yet, but hopefully it comes across and it will be something that we can get behind. The one thing that that SACOG is going to be do, and I cannot remember the exact name of it, but it's a household goods survey. And so community members will be approached. It's one of those things where they're going to come and ask you to participate, to say, hey, where do you go for the week? Just give me, just how many miles do you drive, how many, and this has nothing to do with the what's in Sacramento right now. This is for SACOG to try to determine what our transportation needs are going to be over the next decade, basically. And then some people can opt into do a week-long one, and basically they're going to be asking people to journal everywhere you go. If you just ran to Walmart to go pick up the butter that you forgot to get last time, they want all of those. So how many miles, what did you go for, who all went, how many people were in your car, things like that. Because of the way people are feeling right now, some people may feel it's very intrusive and there might be ulterior motives behind it, but it really is a good thing and will be very helpful for us to prove that we need transportation funding. And as we all know, especially here in Galt, that 99 needs a lot of help. So we need as much money as we can. So please participate if you're approached. That will probably be coming out within the next few months. So if you see that, that's what that's about. And I think that's pretty much, there was a lot going on, a lot of talk about transportation. So if you have any additional questions, go ahead and reach out to me. Okay, item F, information consent calendar. It is recommended that items 1 through 2 be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion and/or action is requested by a council member. We have item 1, receive and file warrants for period ending February 4th, 2026, and item 2, minutes of the regular meeting of February 3rd, 2026. Does anyone have want any discussion on any of those? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Reed and seconded by Councilmember Pratton. Tina?
Vice Mayor Reed,
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton,
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Aye. Pass 5-0 vote. Item G, scheduled matters of notice of public hearing. Doesn't look like we have any. And item H, regular calendar, City Treasurer's Office. Mr. Farrell.
Madam Mayor, thank you very much. City Council members, good evening. Tonight, before you, you have the Treasurer's Report as of December of 2025. But before I get to that, or touch upon that, I just want to always give you a little economic rundown. And so according to EDD, they're not my numbers, but according to EDD, the unemployment rate here in Galt is 6.5%. That was as of the end of December. Countywide, they say it's 4.9%. Now, whether some of those numbers are due to seasonal workers, I'm not sure. I don't know. It just shows just what the numbers are. So I just wanted to let you know about that. As far as housing information, I combined the December and January, so December of 2025 and January of 2026 together. And during those 2 months, there were a total of 34 homes that sold. And just to kind of give you a few statistics, I'm going to just give you the median tonight, and that is it's basically a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, approximately 1,700 square foot home, and that was built in 1993. Now, I will tell you the list price. The list price was $549,000. That does not mean that that's what it was sold for. So the sales price was $536,500. So you can see the housing market is just softening a little bit. And if you do the math, the square foot by the close price is about $308 per square foot. If you remember, probably about a year ago, that 308 was probably right around 320. So again, it's just a touch of coming down. It's just a softening just a little bit. And the last thing is, of those 34 homes that sold in December and January, 21 of those sold within the first 60 days. Okay, and 14 of those were actually under 30 days. So they either go quick or they don't. How about that? So tonight I'll talk about the Treasurer's Report, and really I want to talk about the banking relationship that we have with our local bank, Farmers and Merchants Bank. Right now, as of the end of December, we had about $21,642,000 with Farmers and Merchants Bank. And that's approximately 15% of our total portfolio. But one thing I want to mention is when the city of Galt incorporated back in 1946, I wasn't there, but when that was 80 years ago. And so we, the city, have actually been with the city of Galt for 80 years now. And officially it's August 11th. But that's a long time. And the reason, and I'm sure someone has asked, well, why haven't you changed in 80 years? And there's two good answers to that. One is, I know the council and myself, you always want to, and we preach this, shop local, do business locally. And in banking and of our banks, and there's 3 in town, think about it. First, there's Wells Fargo. Well, they're not necessarily a local bank, right? Then there's Banner Bank. Well, they're headquartered in the state of Washington. And so then you have Farmers and Merchants Bank, who is, located in Lodi. That is our local bank. And Farmers and Merchants has been here since a little bit beyond 1946, but that's when the city incorporated, and that's who we started doing business with. So that's number one. Then number 2 reason why we stay with Farmers and Merchants is because they work with us. I negotiate rates with them all the time. I could put some of our funds in with the State of California Local Agency Investment Fund called LAIF. I could, but Farmers and Merchants has come back and said, hey, if we give you a few more basis points more than LAIF, would you put the money with us? So I absolutely. And you also, so that's why we have over $21 million with them right now. So we have in a money market alone, again, higher than the LAIF rate. In December, we earned 4.11%. We have about $15 million. And in our regular checking account, we had 1.6 million. Again, that's a snapshot as of December 31st. And then also we have a certificate of deposit, which expires this coming July 7th of 2026. And that was a 1-year certificate, and that's at 4.25%. So when that matures, we'll sit down and negotiate once again. But that's the relationship that we've had for the past 80 years is they work with us as far as negotiating the right rates. And as such, just in December, I agreed to stay with them for another 5 years. So I think that's and they know that they're going to have that money, and so for the next 5 years, and so it goes. It's a win-win for both farmers, merchants, and for our taxpayer money. Okay, and one other concern I want to address is if you're wondering about, okay, well, how safe is that money? And every dollar above the $250,000 FDIC insurance corporation, Farmers and Merchants, has to collateralize those funds. So what that means is that for every dollar that we put in, they have to place into a separate third-party custodian $1.10 of securities. So if anything ever happens, say to Farmers and Merchants, we go to that third-party custodian and then take those securities. So we then know that we have that safety in those securities. Now, having said all that, I will also say that during the first 6 months of our fiscal year, the city earned a total of a little bit over $3 million in interest, which that's, I want to say, a record. Now, you can't necessarily multiply that and say, okay, well, we're going to earn $6 million in our fiscal year, because interest rates are ticking down. And so I won't say that, but I will say that we've never earned $3 million in the first 6 months for the city. This is truly, a new record. So with that, I will answer any questions that the council may have. Otherwise, I ask for your approval for the treasurer's report ending of December 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Farrell. Mr. Vice Mayor, do you have any?
No questions.
Mr. Pratton?
No questions. Very informative. Thank you.
Mr. Sandu? Mr. Farmer?
Yeah, just one question. You said that you re-upped your relationship for another 5 years.
Yeah.
That means like that you're going to keep our standard like checking accounts and things with them, right? That doesn't mean that just to clarify, that doesn't mean that you've promised them that you're not going to put money in anywhere else except them for the next 5 years.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Our checking account is going to be there for the next 5 years.
Right. Because I know you do have, sometimes you put funds in
Absolutely.
it.
We got bonds,
Yeah, I didn't want the public to misunderstand that.
No. We guarantee that our checking account will be there for the next 5 years,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. Well, so that's all I have, and I just want to say again that it's nice to see, an unprecedented number of interest being made due to your savvy skills. You're earning every bit of that $500 a month that we pay you to manage millions of dollars.
Thank
I
you.
like to throw that out there because people don't know that.
It's
So-
600, just for
Oh,
for
600.
clarity.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
I think we're overpaying you for sure.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Farrell. I really appreciate it. I love all you don't have to come and bring all of the EDD and all that kind of stuff, but I do appreciate hearing it. It's great.
I won't talk about EDD again. How about that?
Oh, no, I actually,
Oh,
I
you
mean, it
enjoy
is
that. Okay.
unfortunate that it is as high as it is, but it's good to hear
Yeah.
because most of us don't go look that up. And the home sales, it's good to hear.
Yeah, it's good information.
Yeah, good information. There we go. We'll
Yeah.
put it that way because sometimes it's not good to hear, but.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Mr. Farrell, I do have one more question. If it's not a big deal, if it's a big deal, next time you do a report, what will be interesting for you to add if you're able to just do the whatever, is when you give us those numbers about what the median price in Galt is, whatever, give us a comparable city like Lodi or Elk Grove, somewhere around us, because I think it would be interesting to see the barometer of what houses are selling for in Galt and what the economy looks like, the strength of it versus another town. So if you have that next time, that would be awesome.
I will make a note of that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Farmer, thank you.
All right, well, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve treasurer's report as stated.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Pratton and seconded by Vice Mayor Reed. Tina?
Vice Mayor Reed?
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton?
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the city manager's office. Consultant agreement with Position Interactive Incorporated for the City of Galt Branding Initiative. Ms. Mendez.
Does it go any bigger than this? Is this how it normally is?
Let's see. There we go.
This is what happens when our community engagement analyst does our presentations. They look a lot fancier, and then we don't know how to work them. So, good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Amy Mendez, Assistant City Manager. I am joined here this evening by Genesis Alegria. She is our community engagement analyst. And if this initiative is approved this evening, Genesis will be leading the consultant team and this project and implementation over the next 8 to 12 months. The item before you this evening is the City of Galt Branding Initiative. As you may recall, one of the 6 priorities in the City of Galt's 2025-2027 strategic plan focuses on quality of life and on preserving and enhancing Galt's small town charm. A key outcome under this priority is to evaluate and implement a citywide branding initiative that clearly defines and strengthens the city's brand identity. Currently, the city utilizes a city seal, a city logo, and a separate Galt Market logo, which were all developed at different times and lack cohesive design standards or consistent application. As a result, public-facing materials ranging from city communications and signage to economic development and tourism materials vary in appearance and messaging, which dilutes the city's overall identity. You may see out in the community, we have vehicles with the city seal, which is behind you. We have the wayfinding sign logo, which is on a lot of our signs. Our business cards, it depends on whose card you have, on what logo is on them. There's really no consistency and no standard in how the logos are being applied, and that happened as a result of our wayfinding signage logo. I think the former city manager was a fan, and that became sort of the newly implemented logo, and so there's really no standard at this point in the community or in the city, which is why you see it kind of applied along different, in different locations. So what is a brand and why does it matter? A brand is a clear, consistent identity that communicates who we are and what makes us unique. It also is what we may be known for. It includes more than just a logo. It includes our reputation, how residents, businesses, and visitors perceive the city, our story, what makes us unique and why. It communicates our values and priorities. It also is a visual and verbal identity, our tagline, logo, colors, messaging tone, etc. Developing a clear, authentic brand will support economic development, tourism, and community engagement. A strong brand is a strategic framework for how the city presents itself authentically and intentionally. You know, from a tourism standpoint and from an economic development standpoint, we want to attract visitors and businesses to our city, and we need to tell them why they should be visiting here. And I think that's lost sometimes in the presentation of our logo, the lack of a tagline. We don't have a story that goes along with our logo, and this all comes into play with a comprehensive brand story. After careful consideration and meeting with several branding and marketing companies, staff selected Position Interactive out of Sacramento to lead the City of Galt branding initiative. This firm has worked with several agencies on similar initiatives, including Downtown Sacramento, Visit Sacramento, Monterey, as well as others. They have a strong approach to community engagement, which we believe will be a vital part of this process. This initiative is expected to take 8 to 12 months for a full brand rollout. The brand process will begin with what we consider to be the most important phase, which is a discovery and community engagement phase designed to gather input from internal and external stakeholders. This phase includes an email survey, individual interviews, and group interviews to capture perspectives from city leadership, staff, residents, businesses, and community partners. The goal of this phase is to understand how Galt is currently perceived, identify community values and aspirations, and ensure the resulting brand is authentic, inclusive, and reflective of the community. Can you advance the slide? I'm gonna ask the IT director to fix my remote. Oh, did it work for you? Phase 2 is brand strategy and identity development. Building on information gathered during the discovery phase, the consultant will develop a comprehensive brand strategy. This phase includes defining brand goals, identifying key target audiences, and establishing a clear brand tone and messaging framework. The consultant will also develop a tagline, a brand story, and positioning statements that articulate who Galt is and what it stands for. As part of this phase, the consultant will prepare 2 or 3 logo concepts for both the City of Galt and the Galt market to establish a cohesive and recognizable brand function. Phase 3, following approval of the identity development, a complete brand system will be developed to guide consistent use across all city departments. This includes the verbal framework such as brand mantra and key messaging, as well as visual standards including logo usage, color palette, typography, photography style, iconography, and supporting graphic assets. These tools will ensure consistency, clarity, and flexibility across departments, programs, and external partnerships. One of the keys here that I think we need to touch on has to do with how many people in the city are utilizing our logo and designing their own flyers and branding material. Public Works does it for a lot of their outreach as it relates to recycling and the organics. That's what Public Works typically is working with Genesis on. The Galt Market and special events, their staff are consistently working with Genesis on developing materials and outreach for special events and Parks and Recreation programming. And everybody has their own style and theme, and that shows really when it comes to what we're putting on social media. Phase 4 is implementation, guidance, and rollout. To support successful adoption, the scope includes 6 months of consulting support to guide implementation and provide ongoing guidance. This phase includes monthly planning sessions and proactive guidance to help city apply the brand effectively. Rollout support may include development of campaign materials such as videos, social media assets, email and presentation templates, and design support to ensure a smooth, coordinated, and effective launch of the new citywide brand. The last thing we want to do is put together a comprehensive brand guide and not roll it out properly. We have one community engagement analyst, and that's Genesis, who's sitting here. She will be leading this initiative, which is a heavy lift. I mean, you're working with a consultant, but there's a lot of engagement in the community and with stakeholders that we're going to be doing. And rolling out a brand and ensuring that all of our city staff understand and roll it out just as effectively as Genesis does is really going to be important. We don't want it to be disjointed, and we want to make sure that there is a guide that really provides an ongoing support for our staff. So if Genesis, heaven forbid, leaves ever, there's something there and some guidance for future staff to utilize. But the rollout is going to be important as well because we really want buy-in from the community on this. The last thing we want to do is put together a branding guide that we haphazardly put out in the community and it ends up being not well received. And so that's what the consultant really will be helping us with. As I mentioned earlier, the branding initiative is more than a visual refresh. It's a strategic tool that supports how the city of Galt communicates, how we build trust and enhance the community pride. It increases the city's ability to attract businesses and visitors. By grounding the brand in community input, the city ensures its identity authentically reflects Galt's character while positioning the city for future growth. A cohesive brand framework will also improve efficiency by providing clear standards and tools that can be consistently applied across departments, reducing fragmentation and ensuring a unified message in all public-facing communication. Tonight, we are requesting a one-time allocation from the general fund for the City of Galt Branding Initiative. This contract is not to exceed $120,000. Future budget allocations for a phased implementation of the new logo and tagline, which includes applying the new logo to city vehicles, business cards, uniforms, letterhead, signage, and other materials, will be done through the budget process as we phase it in over the next several years. These future allocations will be included in this first budget go-around for fiscal year 26-27, and we'll likely start with more of the outward-facing logos on city vehicles, city uniforms, and begin to phase out the old city seal and the old city wayfinding signage logo. We're also asking that we have 2 city council members appointed to an ad hoc committee to assist us over the next several months as we work with the consultant to do outreach and also develop the brand, the logo, the taglines, because we will be working hand in hand with the branding consultant, but we want to make sure we have city council input as part of that. It's a little bit easier than us coming back to city council with two options of logos and having design by committee done from the dais, I think it'd be a lot easier for us to have a couple of council members assisting us as we go through the process. And it won't be a heavy lift, but we just want to make sure we have input from the council as we kind of move forward with this. There's a couple of questions I want to just make sure I address with regard to the wayfinding signage. So those are all relatively new signs. We have no plan to get rid of the wayfinding signage logo. We will still utilize that for wayfinding purposes. The signs will remain, and we've actually spoken with the consultant already to ensure that there's cohesiveness from the wayfinding sign logo to the new logo that is developed. Additionally, the Galt Market logo will all be complementary of each other so that we don't have something drastically different that rolls out. But again, I think it's really important for us. For 10 years, I've worked with the city, and we've had the city seal and then the wayfinding logo. The Galt Market logo desperately needs to be redone, and the Galt Market is going to be working with us as part of the committee on this. But we want to ensure that the Galt Market appears to be part of the city, because I think that a lot of people think that the Galt Market is not a function of the city, and we really want to turn that around and make sure, especially as we go through the market master plan, that there's a refresh that's done with the market logo and all of the branding moving forward. That concludes staff's presentation. If you have questions, Genesis and I are here to answer.
Thank you for that. Council, do you want, do we have any speakers?
We do.
We do. Do you want to ask questions first, council, and then get speakers, or just go ahead and go straight to the speakers?
Speakers.
Speakers? Okay.
Harry Wenzel.
Good evening, council members. Harry Wenzel from the west side of Galt. And I just added up, I've been a citizen of Galt now. This is going on 18 years. I don't know where the time went. This, I think, is one of the more interesting items that comes before the council. I think it's a really important item, and I fully support that we need to do something here. But I don't think it's, and as Amy mentioned, it's more than just logos, okay? So I want to approach it a little bit from the business side. Tonight, what you're looking at is approving $120,000, okay? So I guess the first question is, are we meeting our obligation for the approval of spending the 120? Do you need 3 bids? Or how do you, if you're going to, because it seems to me that you're making an exception. I could be wrong, but that's what you guys are here to figure out. Okay, and we talk about that we talked to some other firms. I mean, as a citizen, I'd like to see what those other firms were, because this is a very interesting subject. So with that, the other is more, when you read the contract, when you look at the presentation, this is about as good as it's going to get, you know, in terms of presentations of staff giving something to the council. But then it moves to the next question, which is, when you read the contract, are we getting all of these concepts into the contract? And do we have timeframes where we're going to have like a pause and say, you know, where are we going? It's an important item, I think. So I see the logos, and I see documents coming out. Documents for this kind of stuff is very hard, because you really need to boil it down to where the council can always have this backdrop as they're working on things, where staff always has this backdrop, and you have to have simple enough documents where they say, well, I mean, how are we doing this? Okay, so what I see there is the attachment, Exhibit A, I think is a little bit sparse, because remember, if you do run into a problem where you say, well, no, that's not what we wanted. We wanted documents. We wanted something functional. And I don't see that as a big rewrite. I just see the presentation and the agenda report, I see some of that incorporated back into Exhibit A. So this is like, putting a little safety net on. I'm sure this is a great company. I have no doubt. And then the other thing is, when you look in Exhibit A, they talk about 50,000, to roll out and stuff like that. We got this 120,000, and then we have a payment schedule. And myself, I'd be more comfortable if that payment schedule said, yeah, you get it, but we don't have like this much should be done at this point. We should be seeing documents by this point. So what are you going to do? You get out there 7 months and you don't have any of the deliverables yet, but you've made all these payments. So I think those are things to contemplate. I think it's just good business. But I fully support what's being done, and a lot of it has to do with, those documents. I like the logos we got right now, but I'm sure I like the new ones just as much. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wenzel.
No other comment.
Thank you. All right, council, Mr. Reed.
Should I had a question? What was it?
You can come back to it if you want.
You want to come back around? Okay, Mr. Patton.
The only thing when I read the contract is I look at the additional, if we purchase anything through them, I guess flyers, brochures, whatever, they add 20%. So anywhere we can keep from doing that would be appreciated. Other than that, I support what I see.
The consultant, that is an additional cost if that's something that we're interested in. What we really want to see is the templates that they're providing. So they will be providing us with a lot of built-in templates that we can use for social media purposes. So instead of creating something new for, whether it be a recreation program or some type of special event or just a general public announcement, we have a supply of templates that we can pull from. And so there's not much in terms of printed material that we would be looking for. This is really just for us to have our presentations, our templates for social media, in addition to the business card template, the email signature template, all of that will be coming through from them electronically. And we did, just to touch on Mr. Wenzel's question, we interviewed 3 different branding agencies, and all of them were over $100,000. They were all comparable in terms of their deliverables. And there is a heavy lift on the rollout piece of it, and that is to assist us from a staffing standpoint on the rollout and ensuring that we have all of the training and professional assistance as it relates to that. And that'll be for staff with Genesis, but also with the other staff in the other departments.
Good. Mr. Sandhu.
Just for the clarification, thank you for this agenda item. I believe I'm going to support it. But just for the clarification, that's $120,000, a lot of money. This is especially from the general fund. And that's $120,000, that the contract we have with the position interact incorporation, or that's the money we needed so then we can distribute whatever they done the service.
The contract for $120,000 includes the rollout, brand rollout, but it includes the beginning stages as well. So all of the community engagement and outreach, the surveys, the assistance in whether it be community stakeholder meetings that we do or having them join us at the Saturday market to collect information from residents. That will be part of it on the community engagement piece. And then moving forward, it would be the brand guide document. So the logo, once it's decided, the tagline, the mantra, the photography, all of you received a sample of the 2 guides that we had from downtown Sacramento and for Visit Sacramento. And that's really the tangible document that we'll have at the end of the day, which is the brand guide itself. And then the rollout is the other part of it. So that's a comprehensive $120,000 for all of that.
Right. And the other thing, you already answered my question, but I ask, you already did other 2 companies for interview. And who was these companies? If there is no
Honey
conflict.
was one of them. I actually met the company Honey. They're from Sacramento. They were at Cap to Cap, and so that's where that lead came from. And then I don't remember who the third one was. The 2 final contenders were Honey and Position Interactive.
So at the interview you and Jens did, so you guys feel this company is much better than the other company, both way as a work-wise and then also as a contract-wise?
It was actually very tough for us to make the decision. I think that Honey is a wonderful group. I think at the end of the day, what it came down to was the end result and the graphic design and the branding guide. Position, I think, would meet our need a little bit more than what Honey would provide. Those were the 2 final contenders, though. And we
All
had
right.
several meetings with them. It wasn't just one.
All right, that's it for me at this time.
Thank you, Amy. Well, I have a few things. So I did have a question about what you brought up about the 20%. So that jumped out at me. So, but I think, overall, first of all, I think selecting the right company for something like this is important. This is not something, and I think any of you that know me well enough is I can sit up here and I can nitpick nickels. I can do that. But this is the kind of thing where you can easily, I would say, there's more to a good deal than just a great price. I'm glad to hear that the other people were all comparable in the same wheelhouse, but I think interviewing and getting a certain feel for and whatever the criteria is that you felt confident with, this is the one that you wanted to bring to us. I am not an expert on this, but I would say that this is where the council gives trust to the staff that you guys have done your diligence in selecting the right company, because this is not something, again, when's the last time we did this? Like, we probably have never done this, to be honest with you. We probably internally created these logos and things. So this is an important thing. And $120,000, we have to look at this as Galt is a business. Our city runs as a business. And in addition to that, the Galt market is a business. And the Galt market is something that we are well known for. I have bumped into people in other states that have said, oh, Galt, is that where that flea market is? I mean, it is, and to be honest with you, I think many aspects of the market have become very complacent over the decades. I think it is time for a refresh, because we want to be able to sell. I look at this completely from a business standpoint. If you want your business to be successful, you have to have a message. You have to say, who are we? Why should you buy from us? In our case, why would you move here? Why would you want to open your business in our town? Why would you want to come to our Galt market? All these are things that you're basically trying to sell someone on. And if you don't have a good sales pitch, if your materials don't look good or your logos don't look good, all that has to do with marketing. And anybody who has a business or has ever been a business owner knows that marketing is important. If you don't invest money in marketing, that is money that is a good investment for your business. And so I look at this as a great investment to do that. I personally hate the old logo. I think the bird or the crane on there, I know we have the bird festival, but it's like the bird festival's about I just think it has nothing to do with Galt, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I might catch flack for that, but I think there's so many other things that we could be identifying that could be a part of our logo that would help, identify Galt and its history or anything like that. So I would look forward to that. I think this is a long time coming. I do thank you, Amy, for giving this information to me in advance. So I've been looking over it for the last few days. I think this company will do a good job. I, of course, like the community outreach component of it because, but I will say in advance, no matter how much community outreach we do and how much participation we get from the community, which I hope we get a lot, we're going to have those people that go, oh, that looks stupid. Who picked that? That's the dumbest thing ever, because they just weren't involved. So I would say to the public who's watching this, if you are interested in being a part of this, be involved, because we're going to give you and the rest of the community ample opportunity to put input in here. But eventually, at the end of it, it's going to come down to us up here to make that decision. And I think the only other thing I wanted to mention was I did ask you, Amy, about you know, this is coming from general fund. I did ask you, well, can we use this TOT money to use this? Because for those of you who don't know, we collect travel and tourism money from our hotels, and that money is intended to be used to be spent to, you know, for things like this. And you said, well, that money goes into the general fund, so we could earmark it however, but it's still coming from general fund. So I appreciate that. I just wanted to know that, so in the spirit, it could be coming from TOT. And that money should be being used for things like that. And I think this is squarely in that wheelhouse. And I'll end my comments with, I would very much like to be one of the 2 ad hoc members before my term in council is over. So just throwing that in the ring. But that's all I have right now.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
All right, a couple of things that stood out to me when I read it was the scheduled payments. Like, we have a payment scheduled, $15,000 every so often, but I didn't see anything in there about, it's kind of what comes back to what Harry said was, yeah, you get paid on this schedule if you've done everything or if you've done nothing. And so that was one of the things that concerned me. And really, because I've worked with consultants, and some of them are really great and some of them are ahead of schedule, but how many times have we been up here to, you know, reappropriate funds or do all these other kinds of things because the contractors or consultants are behind? Which leads me to my second thing was, I didn't see anything in there about any type of penalties if they're not doing what they said they're going to do, right? If at 12 months, we're at, you know, they've done 6 months worth of work and it's going to take them another 6 months after that, what do we have on our side to protect us from, you know, at the end of 12 months, we would have paid them all $120,000 if we stick to that schedule. What do we have to safeguard us to make sure that the work actually gets done? Or what penalties do they have that they have to repay us or something if they don't do or fulfill what we want them to do? And then the last thing is, much like Councilman Farmer, I would very much like to be one of those city council members involved in that as well. That's all.
Are you for or against the bird?
The what?
Bird.
The bird.
The bird.
Yeah, I have to decide if I want both of you guys on there.
It's a sandhill crane.
Flip?
Yeah.
Never once in my 50 years living in this town have I been in the city limits of Galt and seen a sandhill crane fly in front of me anywhere.
Oh,
Just going to say
actually,
that.
I have seen them.
Have
many
you?
times. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I've
around
seen
the
over
east
the
side all
market, but
time.
those aren't the sandhill cranes.
On the east side, they do, well, not as much now that Liberty Ranch is going in, but they used to be all right there. I actually am very much in favor of this, not in favor of the bird. But I do have a little bit of concern because I am not a fan of the logo that is on the wayfinding. And so that was my big question as, you know, that came to me. I would rather, I mean, I know those were expensive, but if there was any way that we could phase that out, that would be great. That would be, so for the ad hoc committee, that's my vote. But I do have to say, this was actually a discussion for SACOG, for a committee or something on SACOG, and I just so the community is aware, that budget was up to $1.8 million for that branding. So I actually think this is quite a deal. And going back to, I don't know that the city has done this in the 20 years I've been covering the city. They did do something for the Galt market when that logo came out. I don't know how big of a deal it was, but I can tell you that in the Galt Herald archives, if you were to go into the city of Galt, there are probably, I would say, at least 10 different logos that were given to the paper to run with whatever. And yeah, so there has been very little consistency. And it's already been said that business-wise, marketing-wise, we need some consistency. And it needs to be done well. So I definitely am in favor of moving forward with this. And I, you know, I'm fine with the two gentlemen if they want, you know, they want to be on that ad hoc. I don't have an issue with that. But I would like to, I'm excited about this. This is something I'm very excited about. And if Genesis needs a shoulder to cry on during this, because it's going to be a lot. I'm here for you. I've gone through marketing campaigns. This is pretty extensive, so more power to you, but I believe you can do it, so. Anything else? Okay, should we do two different motions, or we can add the ad hoc into that?
You can do it as one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we make a motion, could we see if staff could respond to some of the concerns that Tim and Matt had about this payment schedule? Because now that they mentioned that, I too kind of in the same boat where, is there some sort of like, this is where what we need to see by this point before they get paid kind of thing? Or, I mean,
Yeah, so they're required to provide a detailed timeline before March of 2026.
okay,
That's part of the contract. Their failure to provide any of this, we would consider that to be in breach.
okay,
And then we have a set of remedies that we can follow if they fail to perform. There also is a timeline laid out, estimated timeline of 8 to 12 months, but again, that's going to be finalized when they provide that detailed timeline prior to March of 2026. And their failure then to follow that, they'll be in breach. So, and their failure to just perform, we can walk away. We also have a termination for convenience clause in the contract, so we can walk away at any time. Obviously, if they've done any work product and we've received the benefit of it, we have to settle up with them, but that's fine because we've received the benefit of the work product. But if they fail to perform, we can just walk away as well.
So what you're saying is that any time we feel like it's just, like we're not really happy with what they're doing for us, we could say, okay, we're going to pay you for what you've done so far, and we're going to bail.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to just, for your knowledge, we did call all of the different agencies that position has done work with in the past, and everybody had wonderful things to say about them. So there was a handful of them that Genesis reached out to, and everybody was very much in favor of their service and support and the end product.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with Position Interactive to complete the City of Galt branding initiative and authorize the general fund appropriation in the amount of $120,000 to fully fund the agreement, and add the addition of myself and Councilman Farmer to the ad hoc committee when it's formed.
Before I second that motion, Matt and Paul, are you okay with us being in the ad hoc? Because, I mean, we kind of threw our names out there before anybody got a chance.
You guys
Yes.
are interested to do it. I'm good.
Okay, I just want to make
We are
sure
good.
that somebody had their fair say.
The only thing I would clarify. Sorry. The only thing I would clarify is we're going to get that timeline in March or by March, and it's an 8 to 12 month estimated timeline, which could take us past the election. So I just want the council to be aware of that for ad hoc purposes.
Okay.
But if we needed to, we could replace, have an alternate?
I would just make the replacement appointment if we come to it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
All right, second the motion.
Okay, I'm not going to repeat his thing. Moved by Vice Mayor Reed and seconded by Councilman Farmer. Tina.
Vice Mayor Reed,
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton,
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, our next item's under the Community Development Department. And before this item is discussed, I want to state for the record that the property under consideration is located within 200 feet of my residence out of an abundance of caution and to avoid any potential conflict of interest or appearance of one. I am recusing myself from both the discussion and the decision on this matter. I will step into the lobby for the duration of this item. And if someone, the city manager, the vice mayor, please have someone notify me when the item has been concluded.
Thank you. We'll give her a couple of moments to exit to the lobby, and then we'll start the item. All right, so item H3, Community Development Department, Director Carloni.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, council members. Tonight's item is to review the Permanent Local Housing Allocation PLHA loan for Mercy Housing's Grizzly Hollow. In 2017, the California Department of Community Development, HCD, created the PLHA grant program through SB2, which is funded through real estate transaction recording fees. PLHA can be used towards a variety of affordable housing and homeless prevention activities. The funds are awarded in a non-competitive way for larger cities and counties. And in 2022, Galt entered into a consortium with Sacramento County to administer the PLHA funds for the smaller cities in Sac County. Our portion of this current PLHA funding pool is $438,712.35. I'm just going to say $438,000 for the evening just to make it easy. It's about 3% of Sac County's funds. So we have until March 1st to respond to HCD, otherwise we lose these funds, which makes this a very time-sensitive item. Because of that, staff is recommending awarding all of Galt's PLHA funding for this round to Mercy Housing to rehabilitate Grizzly Hollow. Grizzly Hollow is an existing 54-unit deed-restricted affordable housing development. It was built in 2006. Mercy Housing owns and manages Grizzly Hollow, and they are requesting to use the PLHA loan for upgrading all of the HVAC units on site, which are now 20 years old and in need of repair and replacement. The city will offer the PLHA loan to Mercy in a low-interest, fully deferred loan. It is a 55-year term, which is common for affordable housing development funding that allows the developer to actually pay for the loan over time. It is deferred, but it does allow residual receipt payments. So basically, in affordable housing terms, if there is cash flow on the site year over year, some of that money can go towards loans. We would be in last position on the property behind the other funding sources. So the recommendation tonight is to adopt the resolution to authorize city manager to accept the $438,000 loan from HCD, to establish a revolving loan fund, to appropriate that money into our revolving loan fund, and then approve that award to Mercy for Grizzly Hollow. I do have Wendy Mertens here from Mercy Housing if we have any questions for that team. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
I actually have Chris, do you have anything to add to this? I knew you were around when that got built. Can you familiarize me a little bit more with that? I mean, I know where it's at. I just trying to understand the significance of that project as it pertains to this money.
Well, as it, just in general, I mean, it was a good affordable housing project at the time. My memory is a little bit hazy on the development of it, but like any affordable housing project, it provides housing to income qualified families. And this project is unique then compared to like Galt Place, another senior development where it's the density is very high. This Grizzly Hollow development, by all accounts, is run very well. Mercy Housing is a nonprofit organization that has a great reputation in the affordable housing community throughout the state. So based on the age, they do have needs that, over time, the HVAC will need to be replaced and be more efficient, help lower bills for the residents that live there.
So are the residents there, I was unless I'm confused with what we're talking about, aren't those are not rental properties, are they?
Yes, they are.
All of them are rental properties?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that.
I thought you knew
They're
that.
on
I'm
the
sorry.
Elko, that they're.
Okay, that's where I'm confused. So I was thinking like, we're gonna give money to people who own the home. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. All right. And so, what sort of, so for people to, is that, what are the income, somebody can be just a brief, not at the, get into the weeds of it, but just a brief overview of like that particular area? Is it, you says it's, you say it's, income restricted, so it's not like Section 8, or is it a mix of different types of things, or what is it?
So the entire development is deed restricted, so all of the units on site serve residents that are low income or below, so extremely low or very low income. I don't know the rents off the top of my head. Wendy may know that information, but the entire property serves lower income residents.
Yeah, I'm not asking for what the rent is. I was just curious if it was different levels of, like with Galt Place, like for example, there's some apartments that are Section 8, others are not. Just wonder if this is a mix or if it's all pretty consistent.
It is a mix, so 30% are restricted towards extremely low, or sorry, 19 units at extremely low, 14 units at low, very low, and 20 units at low. So those are the different tiers of affordability. But I don't believe there's any Section 8 specific, but Wendy can answer if she has that information available.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, maybe enlighten us a little more. Wendy, what was your last name, Wendy? I'm sorry.
My name is Wendy Mertens.
Okay.
I'm the asset manager, and Kara works for.
I'm Kara Warden. I'm Area Director of Operations.
Okay.
So to answer your question, no, we don't have project-based Section 8, but we do have tenant.
Yeah, we have a tenant, they're tenant vouchers, and if you need to know the exact number, I can provide that.
That's not necessary, just that, but the entire complex is a rental, and it's all income-based, correct?
Correct. And Jenny provided the breakdown.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so we are serving an extremely low at 30%, given that, like you said, Chris, it's low density. So, the funding that you will be providing tonight will help, will provide a lot of assistance for the property, just because we are not generating the revenue that a higher density property would, right? Because the expenses are the same. You have to pay a full-time manager, maintenance,
Yeah.
And when we target lower income at 30% AMI, the rents are really low in comparison to what we could get.
How many units are in that?
19 units. So 19 that are at 30.
40.
Go ahead.
Oh, did you say total?
Total, yeah, I'm sorry.
54.
54, okay.
And it's a big site.
Yeah, and so my last question would be, and I'm trying to figure out how this to come off the wrong way, but I see a lot of, I know this money is coming through like some affordable housing, to prevent homelessness, kind of, that's the whole concept of it, right? I see a lot of money that goes through some programs. I've been seeing a lot lately, going through some stuff that is specifically for homelessness stuff, and I feel like the money is, for lack of a better word, it's squandered a lot. I don't feel like it's making a real impact. Do you estimate on this 400,000 and change, do you estimate, what percentage of that money do you actually think is going to be actually spent on like upgrading HVACs and things like that? Or is there going to be like some admin costs in it? I mean,
No, we're not going to take any money. So we are going to be able to, so I put the budget together. So it's 438,000, and we've got some soft costs. So it would be like title fees, prevailing wage consultant, borrower legal fees, because we've got to review all the loan documents. We've got other regulatory agreements, so we need to have legal review the documents to ensure that we are in line with the other 4 agencies that we have on title. So we've got legal fees, and then HCD is charging us $1,000 fee so that they can approve the transaction. The rest is HVAC replacement. So I've calculated, based on the bid that we've got, 32 HVACs. If there is any savings on this, I've spoken to Jenny, we can reallocate any line items, and everything is going to go to HVAC.
so they provide an itemized where the money's going to go, and when it's spent, we'll know that where it was spent on. I mean, the city will, because we gave them the money. Is there some sort of, I forget the word I'm looking for, but
This is a
accountability of where the money?
Yeah, this is a reimbursement-based loan, so it'll come in draws. So
Okay.
we'll take in the invoices, we'll review for compliance, and then we'll pay them.
Got it, okay. All right.
And being that it's Mercy, like, we're a larger nonprofit, so we're going to be able to take an internal line of credit, so we won't have to pay for interest, which is a savings. And just so you know, we've, like Chris says, that the property has a lot of needs. Our organization, and we have run out of money, but over the past 5 years, we've invested almost $1 million at the property. Roof, exterior paint. So this is we focused on the exterior, and now we need to start focusing on the interior of it. And so, again, this is just going to help us so much.
Okay.
Councilmember Farmer, if I could add one thing, they will require a building permit. So through the permitting process, Jenny's department will be highly involved in certainly inspecting the work as it goes through the process.
Okay. Yeah, and I know this is not our money per se, right? I mean, it's being given us that we allocate, but I mean, it's not like Galt. But I just ask these questions because, I mean, it's commonplace, as you know, nowadays, to people to say, well, we're a nonprofit. That doesn't necessarily mean all the money gets used for the purposes that's intended. So I've just, just want to make sure there's some accountability. So it's nothing, I'm not familiar with your organization specifically or anything. So these are just general questions.
And if it makes you feel even better, we have CalHFA and HCD that's reviewing this. Affordable housing is one of the most regulated industries. So we're having to report to them as well what we're doing, even though it's not their money. They want to review what are we putting in the building, even though the $400,000 is not coming from their pot, although it is HCD, but it's a different pot, might be confusing. They want to know what we're doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the questions I have. Thank you, ladies, for answering those. I don't know if council has questions
Thank
for you
you so
before you leave
much.
the podium.
Councilmember Sandu?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. My just the clarification, Jenny, that the last date we said is March 1st, 2026, said that the last date, if we don't use that money, nowhere it can go.
It will go back to HCD. We will
And
not get
when we know we have the money, maybe how many years ago or month ago or?
So we have already submitted our draft loan documents to solidify our position with HCD, and then we have until the end of next week to submit the council's resolution and the updated loan documents to secure the money. So as of next Friday, the 27th, we will have requested the funds. In the meantime, we'll sign the loan documents, we'll close escrow, and we'll get the money from HCD to proceed with the project. So that's the next steps for the loan.
Okay, and the other thing, that money is usually came from like an affordable housing, right? You can use that money to give the existing affordable housing, or you can give that money if somebody will bring a new project.
Correct.
The reason we might be giving that money to Mercy Housing because we don't have enough time.
Basically, yes. When I first started here, we did look for new projects, but that is a long process to go through. And there was no land, there was no extra funding to support that development. So unfortunately, with this short timeline, rehab was really our only option. And so luckily, Mercy was very willing to work with us on that.
All right, so Mercy Housing, they are a non-profit organization, right?
Yes.
And did we any review or research, they might have some other non-profit properties is the same port in city of Galt, or there is no other property?
Within Galt, there were no other properties that were available for this funding at this time, but PLHA is ongoing. We will get another allocation of funding in the next couple of years, so we will have the opportunity to look for another project in the future.
Okay, and then that money is kind of loan money. I did see in the report something is a loan, or we just give this money came in too, and we just giving to.
So the money given to the city is a grant, and we send it back out as a low interest loan. So that's part of the reason we are establishing the revolving loan fund, is because we will take payment from Mercy, and then in the future we'll be able to reuse that money as well.
Thank you. That's it. That's my clue.
All right. And I just want to clarify, I did a little bit of research, and the breakdown of the units, 19 of these units serve families that earn $35,000 a year. 14 of them serve families that make less than $59,000 a year, and 20 serve families that make less than 65,000 a year. So that's the breakdown with the income per the units. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm looking for a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept $438,712.35 from the Department of Housing and Community Development for a permanent local housing allocation program, establishing a revolving loan fund, appropriating that $438,712.35 to the revolving fund, and then approving $438,712.35 loan for the rehabilitation of Grizzly Hollow and the execution of all related agreements and documents.
I'll move to approve H3 as just read.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Pratton and a second by Councilmember Farmer.
Vice Mayor Reed,
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton,
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
All right, thank you. And then we'll give a minute for the mayor to come back in.
Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
All right, we're on H4 now.
H1?
4
Oh, I was going to say. You went backwards?
from the Department of Finance.
All right. Moving on to the Department of Finance, fiscal year 2024-25 annual comprehensive financial report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lila Minor, Finance Director. The city had completed, or the city's independent auditors, Lance, Sol, and Longhart had finished their review of the city's financial statements for the fiscal year 24-25 year, and I wanted to say that we had a clean audit and that they have issued an unmodified opinion.
Should we make a motion to get a new clicker?
So the annual comprehension financial report, or the ACFR, was completed using the GFOA standard format, which is the introductory section, which has a transmittal letter, the financial section, which has the independent audit report and management and analysis on our financial statements, as well as a statistical section. So the next few slides will give you a financial highlight regarding, what was reported in the ACFR. So the government-wide net position is $291.8 million, which is an increase of 8.93%. The net position, basically what this is, it kind of determines and lets you know what the financial status of an organization. So if you have any increases or decreases, that will let you know if an organization is improving or declining. And so based on what was reported, the city is in good financial position so that we do have the ability to meet our future obligations. Total assets had increased by $26.3 million, and this is mostly due to our investments in capital. Liabilities had increased by $480,000, and this is just, from our pension liabilities. Revenues had increased, and this is attributed to all of the new homes that were built and new, utility services that were added, which was an increase in usage and revenues from that. And not only that, we did have an increase in property tax. Total expenses increased by $8 million, and this is mostly due to the Measure Q expenditure and spending plan. So despite all of that, even though our expenditures did go up, the city is still in a good, healthy position overall. The general fund results ended with a 32.9% million, with an increase of 10.79%. And again, this is due to property tax coming in. And out of that, 21.2 million is unassigned, and that will be going towards budget development. And finally, the general fund net budgetary results. The revenues exceeded budget and increased by about almost $2 million. And aside from it being property tax, the other part of it is, for charges related to building and engineering, plan check, and building permit fees. And expenditures did come in lower by 2.67 million, and that's because we had some capital improvement projects that, were planned but didn't start or didn't finish as of June 30th, 2025. And with that, I just wanted to thank the finance department team for, all of their hard work and commitment for completing the ACFR and, for city staff that helped, in the preparation of this report. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Harry Wenzel.
Gary Wenzel, same guy that was here about 2 subjects ago. I haven't changed. I keep a chart, and I hope it becomes a pointless chart in the year 2028, ending July 2028, because we got new software coming in, state-of-the-art software, and we got other, upgrades, and we've got a staff that, you can just feel the energy off the staff. So I don't know that the staff's going to be satisfied to issue a act for 232 days after the close of the fiscal year. I would hope not. I predict they won't. So just a little housekeeping thing here. The transmittal letter is dated December 22nd. I tried on my chart. It doesn't matter. We're going to get this. We're going to get this thing figured out. But that's like if that ACFR is sitting around, I would like to see it posted on the website, and something goes out. Say if anybody's interested. There's probably one guy in Galt that's interested, but I think there's probably more. That would be nice. There was at one time, I don't hear it so much anymore, where you would talk to citizens about the Galt market, and probably 4 out of 5 of them, they couldn't tell you who the mayor was. They didn't know where the city hall was, but they would tell you the Galt market was losing money. It was something you couldn't talk people out of that. So on page 16 in the analysis, once again, the Galt market has brought in about $1.1 million that stays in the recreation department, and the central services, that's after the central services scraped off about $265,000. And overall for Parks and Rec, central services scraped off $1,202,000, including that $265,000. And that's always been a concern of mine. I think that needs to be re-looked at next year, because I think it's just an allocation. And so that's just a thought. The $814,000 of revenue, the statement down below is we got, Measure Q contributed $1.24 million to that. But I think Measure Q is about $5 million, if I recall right. Anybody recall? And I thought most of that was going to go to the Parks and Recreation Department. So I don't see any reason why Parks and Recreation shouldn't have a fund balance that reflects a lot of that. I know there's a lot of expenses that Parks and Recreation have, but I think Measure Q is a big deal, and I think that it's something that should be highlighted in the notes, and even a tabular that says we brought in X many million, and this is where the money went. Okay, some of it went to the slide, et cetera. I'm not gonna speak a long time tonight because it's pointless, because it's, such a big subject. However, if you look on what's called page 7, it's the introduction to the analysis. And you look about halfway down the page, you see that the total assets increased $26,361,000. Liabilities were discussed, $480,000. Total revenues, $7,322,000, and total expenditures, $8,047,000. So it wasn't quite $1 million of a loss. So there's either a bullet point missing on here, or we've worked arithmetical magic to the accounting equation, because it didn't come from net income or loss. It didn't come from borrowing money, but it came from somewhere. And I would imagine that maybe that is grants or something like that. So that's your mystery. You can think about that, put you to sleep tonight. But what I do want to do is spend a minute, as somebody who really supported the new Oracle system, I would like to see the city break out from all the other cities. I don't care what the other cities are doing. And I would like to see the city issue a brief financial report that says, here's where we are compared to budget. And I think if you set that new Oracle system up, you can push buttons, and that would be something that then council could refer back to that. Are we on budget? Are we off budget, or whatever? I would like to see that as some sort of a goal. And I don't think that that is a big challenge, not to this group and not with, you're driving a race car now with that Oracle system. And it's a good job. This is a big job. And it's really appreciated by me anyway. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wenzel. Any other?
No more.
Thank you. Okay, council, Mr. Reed, do you want to lead us off?
Sure, I'll kick it off. My biggest thing with this is it's great that we're having I think this is the second time in a row we've had this ACFR report come back with no findings, which is fantastic. At least while I was here. My biggest concern always is when our expenses outweigh our revenues, right? So my one question about that is, of those expenses, the 8.05 million, how many of those, and you may not know, are one-time expenditures compared to ongoing expenditures?
For that, the expenses?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is capital, so it's mostly one-time expenses.
Okay. All right, it makes me feel a little bit better. That really was my biggest concern after looking at those and the report.
Mr. Bratton.
I just want to say I appreciate the public comments on this. Otherwise, I support. It's good.
Councilman Sandu.
Thank you, Mr. Lela. Thank you for, to give this report. Thank you for your work. I know it's a long report, lot of work. I believe my question, Vice Mayor Reed already asked, so that's for the, public clarification. Even the report is say revenue increase 7.3 million, expenses increase 8.5, and end of the report say finance position remains stable. And that's why if you can a little bit might be in a brief explain to the public. I read the report, I do understand, but public sometimes they'll say, how come we are in a good position if we have a more expense?
We're in a good position because we citywide, or for all the funds across the board, that's including all of our enterprise funds. We've received the increase. And so that's why we're overall have an increase in our net position. So that's, just all of that, that's what caused the increase, so.
And the other thing is mentioned by a Measure Q expenditure. What's included in the Measure?
The Measure Q, we received 4.9 million in revenues as of 6/30/2025.
Thank you. Thank you for your clarification.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was going to ask one of the questions, what was the Measure Q? So just to understand it and try to maybe use an analogy that's a little more easy to understand is, even though it may look like we spent 8 million, the revenue was 7.3, you mentioned that a lot of those expenses were the one-time expenses that were Measure Q money, like for example, the slide and the playground, all that stuff that we've been doing Measure Q money. So it's not like we're saying the city of Galt brings in $1 million, but right now we're spending, $1.5 million. This is not a consistent, we had some money, some capital, we've now spent that, and it reflects as an expense.
Correct.
I wasn't quite clear on what Mr. Wenzel's question was about the arithmetic not adding up. I would just ask you, Leila, that if, in fact, did you understand his question about that?
Yes, because he was questioning the difference between, what made that change in the revenues, and he was correct. The big change from last year to this year is 1.4 million in capital grants that we didn't receive this year.
All right. Hopefully that answered his question. I appreciate it. This is for Mr. Wenzel. This is the Super Bowl meeting for him. He looks forward to this every year, and we appreciate him standing up there on behalf of the 25,000 people in Galt asking questions. I will say it is nice to see that after being here over 7 years, sitting up here, Mr. Sandhu and I, are the ones that have fresh memories of the doom and gloom, reports, and talk about how we weren't going to mow grass anymore and we were going to have to freeze this position and that. And I feel like it's nice to see we've turned a huge corner. I believe that the general fund, when we first came on council, was like 18 million. It was somewhere in that neighborhood, 17 or 18 million. So we're at like 32 million. So it's nice to see that the city has, for lack of a better word, that we seem to be on the right track financially, because that was a huge thing when we came on council. It was like, we literally hired a city manager previously based on the fact that we needed someone with financial prowess. And so I'm glad that we are getting clean reports, that our financial, investment stuff seems to be going well. One thing I've said here before, my dad used to always tell me, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you spend. So it's always something I try to think about myself when I'm in my own personal finances, and I try to apply that a little bit of knowledge, or apply that thinking when I'm up here. I am by no means a financial expert, but I just look at it just in simple terms. And I do think one last comment that Mr. Wenzel mentioned, I do think it wouldn't be a bad thing that in some point in the future, and maybe it won't be in my tenure, but I think in the future for you future council members that are here longer, that I think it might be smart that if we look at some point to reevaluate the central service costs. I know we do the central service instead of like a direct allocation. Instead of just billing specific items and then whatever that money is, we just say, well, we're just going to take a flat 23.3% out of each funds. It has been questioned, as long as I've been in office for 7 years, why we just take 23% out of every fund. It's just like a blanket thing. And I know it's easy to do that, and it simplifies things, but there is a lot of concern over the years in the community that when you have things like Fund 06, which is Parks and Rec money specifically, and then now you have Measure Q money, which has been allocated specifically to Parks and Rec, that when you're peeling off certain percentages of those, there is questions in the community about where is that money going exactly and why is it 23.3%. So I just feel like in the future that we could look at that and say, do we need, because that 23% was determined by somebody, probably a consultant or somebody at some point. How many years have we been using that number? Do we need to reevaluate it? Maybe do we need to look at going back to direct allocation? What would the cost be to do that? Because I know it's more cumbersome. These are just my thoughts.
There are future plans, once we get the system fully implemented, that there are future plans to revise and look at our cost allocation plan.
Okay.
And what we'd probably do is look at the methodology of how things are allocated across the board, and it'll be a lot more fair and equitable across the way.
Perfect. That's
But
what I
that's
like to
going to be a
hear.
little bit further once I get the financial system.
That's good to hear. I look forward to, and again, I may not be here at that point, but I think it would be good just to, to take a peek at it. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
Yeah, we talk about during our,
Strategic plan?
yeah, the strategic plan, we talked about that a little bit. That's what I had written down. I thought we talked about that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to start anything right now as I'm kind of, changing our entire financial structure. So I wanted to kind of wait till that's all situated
Right.
first before I started and implemented a new cost plan.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just an FYI, I know back in 2008, it was a big controversy already. I mean, this cost allocation, so it's been around since at least then. But I do know that what was happening before that was also controversial specifically for Parks and Rec. So
Right.
it kind of seems like Parks and Rec department kind of took the brunt of, or at least that's what it sounded like. Just a quick question about Oracle. I mean, thank you, first of all, for the ACFR, and thank you for the presentation. We did do this at SACOG. It was a much longer presentation, so thank you. And I have to do that one twice because it goes through my committee first and then the board. So thank you for this presentation. It was very lovely comparatively. But Oracle, where are we at now in that process?
Right now, we're doing our meetings for our implementation, and they're going to be here. Well, we've been meeting like every day. And so they're going to do an on-site meeting the end of the month in March for us to kind of review like our procurement process. So right now we're building our foundation of the financial system, like what our procurement will look like, the process workflow. We're redoing our chart of accounts. So that's the phase right now that we're in.
So a lot of work is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And so just for future, because again, I think Mr. Wenzel and myself would be really excited. When does the prospect of being able to push that button to get us the information we're looking for? We're a couple of years out, is that what we're?
Their estimate is about 8 to 10 months.
Okay.
And so depending on how, if everything kind of goes smoothly, and I'm, hoping everything does.
Right.
But our team has just been we've been working really hard behind the scenes just to make sure that all of our deliverables that we've been working with Oracle, that we are meeting those. So, and, we're getting a lot closer, especially with our chart of accounts, so.
Great. Well, thank you for all the hard work, your whole team.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I have one last question. I'm sorry. I just forgot to ask it. On the Measure Q, is the Measure Q money that we take in, just like Measure R, is it detailed in a separate fund, or is it actually subcategorized under Fund 06?
Measure Q is a general sales tax, so it's rolled in as general fund.
Right,
But
okay.
if council wants me to, separate that and so that you can see the difference, because right now it's combined, but if you want, for future years, if you want me to budget and show it separately, that's up to you.
I would very much like that. I mean, I don't want to make a lot more work, but hopefully the new software you have will make things like that simple. But I do think it would be nice just for accountability purposes and also for the optics to the public.
Yes. So
Thank
I
you.
can do two. We can do a combined, and then I'll do a separate one for Measure
Thank
Q.
you.
It might be nice just to kind of piggyback on that, and outside of your department getting the final numbers, but if Parks and Rec during an annual review of, we took in $4.9 million, and then this is what we got for it type thing, so that they can see not only what's come in, but what the result of that has been. Maybe
So for the market, their revenues, they received 2.5 million, and they contributed 916,000. So that's a net 1.6 million, and that's again rolled in with the Parks Fund. So.
Right.
Layla, is the market revenue the gross revenue? Is it? And I'm sorry, I don't have this right in front of me. And I didn't look at that specific item on the ACFR, but is it trending steady? Is it trending up, or is it trending down compared to last year or maybe the year before? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to
Okay.
like analyze that.
Was it,
That
I
could be
don't know if
something
it,
future if you wanted me to kind of do a separate like market comparison, you know, from prior years. That could be something I could bring back.
yeah, I mean, it's because that was, to be honest with you, when we were getting those financial reports, the doom and gloom reports that I mentioned, where we're going to have to start do major things, it was all that premise. The market's losing money, and so now we're bleeding money from the general fund to cover those shortfalls. And so that was like the driving force behind all those financial decisions. So it is nice to see, and I do remember that it was up last time I think we were presented with this, but it would be nice to see, you know, if it's trending, because it is, you know, that is our golden goose for at least Parks and Recreation. So it's nice to see what that revenue looks like from each time from year to year. So
I think that's why the community did say that the market is losing, because that was the message coming from up here, that the market was losing
back in 18,
money.
for sure it was.
Yeah, 18, 19. And then COVID hit, and it first went down because everything went down. And then because you were outdoors, it actually started to go back up. But yeah, it would be nice to see what is trending, especially as, you know, new activities and stuff were implemented there. It'd be interesting to see the benefits that, you know, the extra love there has brought.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept by motion the fiscal year 2024-25 annual comprehensive financial report and the fiscal year 2004-25 single audit report and the auditor letters.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Farmer and seconded by Councilman Sandu. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed,
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton,
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. All right, do we have any communication?
None.
City clerk's report.
None.
Comments by staff.
And continuing that trend, no comments by staff.
Someone must need to get out of here.
It's close to the number.
Okay, comments by city council. Mr. Reed.
First, I would like to, Armando's not here, so somebody else is going to have to tell him. I've heard a lot of good feedback about the Bird Festival. Unfortunately, I was unable to go because I was getting ready for my vacation. The second thing that I wanted to say for Parks and Rec is I felt really bad for the Parks and Recs workers that I saw when I was driving home the other day when it was just downpouring rain. And these guys are out there cutting the weeds and cutting the grass all on the sidewalk, and it's just downpouring rain. So I wanted to make sure that they got a thank you. And everyone else that works out, Public Works, PD, all those people that work outside. Like I had one of those jobs where I worked out in the pouring rain and it was not good. So I'm just thankful that we have all those dedicated city workers that are out there when it's not comfortable doing their jobs. Thank you to Public Works for trying to address the flooding on Simmerhorn. Like last time we had the rains, they went out there and they dug trenches and did a bunch of things, and it worked for a while. But once we get a lot of rain, this morning I emailed Trung and the city manager saying, "Hey, the flooding is back." And within a very short amount of time, there were the signs out there telling everybody that it was flooded. And it's actually a lot better this time than it was last time because the whole entire street was flooded, and now it's just down to one lane. So I appreciate everything that you do to try to keep everybody safe. And thank you, everybody that came, gave all your reports. It's a lot of stuff to go through over a weekend. So thank you. That's it.
All right, Councilman Pratton.
No comments tonight?
Wow. Councilmember Sandu.
Very short. First of all, thank you for all city staff for their hard work. Thank you for the public comment. And there is a few events I did attended. On February 7th, I attended the Bird Festival, and it was well organized. And there is a lot of people I met, and there was a lot of community members was there. Second, I also attend the police award ceremony with Madam Mayor. They was well organized, good food, and it was very nice to see the police chief was recognizing his hardworking police officer. And also thank you for the city, they was helping that event. And that's all, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Farmer.
Yeah, first of all, I just had a question for Trung. With the anticipated weather, and it looks like rain for the full next week, are Public Works anticipating doing a sandbag station at all, should it be needed?
The sandbags are available. They were set up this weekend,
Okay.
and we did have our guys.
Do we have social media out that states that? I just worry about the communication to the public.
We can make sure that Genesis puts that out
Okay.
there tomorrow.
Thank you for that, because those questions will come for sure. I want to thank Paul and Bonnie, or Madam Rodriguez, Mayor Rodriguez and Councilman Sandu for going to the police thing. I was not able to attend, so I appreciate you guys having a presence there and representing the council there. And I just wanted to mention, as you mentioned, Madam Mayor, about Gloria Stemler, who had passed away. She was a very well-known person in the community. She founded L'Haim 20 years ago. She was very involved with things like Meals on Wheels, Girl Scouts, and other stuff, and she was a great lady. I remember we used to meet with her when we would meet in the mornings for our little economic group. I forget what we called that group, but she was a great lady, and so it's she'll be truly missed in the community. So condolences to her family and her friends. And last, I think I just had, there was one other thing, I can't remember what it was, looking at the staff, thinking who I had to do it. Just thank you again to Public Works. Again, I know I thanked you outside of the meeting, but for all your quick work on the reflectors and the painting of all the medians and stuff. I've seen some of the regular rock throwers on the internet that have been complaining about it have acknowledged that that was done, and they seem to be thankful for that. So I appreciate all that. It's sometimes we are reactive and not proactive, but if we react quickly, I think it goes over well in the community. So just want to say thank you for that. And I think that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Okay, I actually have a little bit. For one, this isn't direction. Can we consider getting an attached microphone at that podium? It was almost embarrassing at the planning meeting, watching people come in and almost drop it on themselves or not being able to get to it or whatever. I don't know if we could get it to be attached, because as people pull it down, they end up pulling the whole thing. And it happened a little bit tonight. So anyway, just a recommendation that we do. I don't know if we can stick it on super glue or something. I don't know. I did attend the police awards. It's just amazing. It just always strikes me of the community that they have. And of course they are bonded because of what they're doing, but it goes beyond that. And just to see the families, I actually was able to sit with Kevin Ton's parents, who show up and have shown up for the last 13 years to these award ceremonies. It's just phenomenal. And to listen to, all of the great things that these officers do that most people don't even think about. They complain, they get pulled over for a ticket or something didn't get done the way they want. But I just don't think enough gratitude goes to our police officers. So I want to express my gratitude, and it was wonderful to see these awards. And we don't have to do it tonight, but I don't know, Public Works probably was not prepared. I didn't reach out, but the thought occurred to me on my way over here. If we have an update or if we have a timeline of anything happening on AIRS, it is my understanding that certain homes do not want speed bumps. So I'm curious if we are going to be doing that entrance median, if we've moved forward with that decision at all, or...
Do you mean Adair?
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Sorry, Adair. They both start with A.
Just a update. So we actually did send out the letters and received all the letters back. There's 4 locations, 3 of the locations, we got the numbers, the 3 out of 4, so over. So three out of 4 locations are good. 1 location, there's only 2 that voted, and so that one's out. So we're looking at putting a project together to put those speed lumps at the 3 locations that were accepted.
Okay, and then did we decide not to do the entrance median? We did. I thought we decided also to do the entrance from East Stockton. There were, how the medians are along Carillion going onto those streets. There's a median, that little islands.
I don't believe that was included in that speed lump.
It wasn't in the
speed
lump, but I thought we
policy.
had talked about that.
No, it is something we do plan to do. I think we were just prioritizing the speed lumps, and then the island will come back as a later project.
Okay.
That was a little longer term.
Although, with all the negativity, with all the medians and stuff in town, it may be a good thing if we don't do that median right away. I don't know. I'm just saying, there's a lot, if I found a nickel for every comment about a curb right now.
No one complained about those little islands going in on those streets coming off of Carillion because they were needed and they look nice. I think we'll be okay putting it over there on Adair. But yeah, again, it's back to the people complain and they don't necessarily praise when things happen. So I saw, again, for Public Works, I saw on social media, I very rarely go on there, but unfortunately this time I went on and someone was telling everybody that there is for sure a stop sign going in on Basso and Carillion. Has that been publicly announced? Has that been even 100% decided?
We haven't, I've updated the city manager's office, and we posted we did the speed study, and we are, I believe, in the process of verifying with the police chief and posting the speed limit sign so they can do enforcement. And it looks like it meets the warrant for the speed signs, to the stop sign right there on Bosau and South Carillion. So we're in the process of verifying also with the police department, and we'll be probably installing that with the notification, proper notification, probably sometime in March.
Oh, okay. And then that'll get a full crosswalk?
Yes.
And will that be flashing crosswalk?
We're still working through the details.
Okay. I think, and then I don't know, Layla or Lila?
It's Lila.
That's what I thought, but everyone was saying Layla. So I was like, oh, no.
Chris's fault.
Okay. When Cal Waste was here, I didn't want to ask because he doesn't know, but the fees that he was saying that the city collects or that Cal Waste pays, that goes into a public works fund or an enterprise?
It's into our enterprise funds or our utility funds. Yes, so, and it's, that's, the solid waste fund.
And then what do we pay out of that?
Well, that's for, solid waste services. So it's, that's the enterprise funds, whatever the fees we charge, that's what we, use for investments in those services. So like if we, for the water fees or for the water bill, water stuff, is used for that. So operations, any kind of capital improvement, all of that gets paid for that.
Do they pay a road damage fee or something like that? That's part of it. And that's, so it will go toward roads as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my main question.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to ramble.
No, I appreciate it. And I knew this years ago covering it, but it had, my mind was gone. But other than that, does anyone have anything else? All right, seeing none, we'll close this meeting at 8:32.